Is Bitcoin about to pump to $130,000? That is what I will be covering in this technical analysis video. The massive targets that I have to the upside, the reasons why from an Elliott Wave perspective, the local low that we've put in at $98,000, like how strong is this low? Are we likely to see another retracement before this major new all-time high target? Essentially, I'm going to be going over everything that you need to know for the next few weeks of trading Bitcoin. It's going to be a very in-depth, very professional video. We're going to keep it focused on the charts and, really simply, well, taking a very complex theory, but I'm going to simplify it as much as possible just to give you a clear understanding of the upcoming targets, how we are predicting the waves to get there, and just making this in the most helpful video that I can possible. So I truly hope that you find it helpful. And let's come over to the charts where we absolutely love what we're going through today. I know it, right? Elliott Waves, it's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. There's not many people in the middle. So if you are a hater of Elliott Waves, well, maybe via the end of this video, you'll come to love it as much as me, which truly for me this is one of the best tools, if not the best tool in the world, for predicting future price action. It's very powerful and it can be very precise, and that's what I want to show you today, showcase this, and as we look towards new all-time high targets. This is again an account that I've been looking at for over a year, where all the way back from $15,000, where we had that lovely retracement, looking for then a new all-time high above $130,000. It's been a bit of a journey. It's been a lovely one indeed. But let's get it over to the charts. Let's start this video off. So to start off the video, you have to have a very good understanding. Again, if you do not know Elliott Waves, I'm going to make it as easy as possible to understand. But you do have to have an understanding of this WXY to have the knowledge of where and why, more importantly, to the context of why are we getting this move to the upside and where is it going next? Again, are we going to be putting in another failed impulse here for a larger retracement, or is there some strength in this move for new all-time highs? That's what we're going to analyze. That's what I'll be going through. Let's begin. So first of all, this moved to the downside. So around the start to the middle of June, the Elliott Wave Count of being in a more of a complex correction became the most probable. And that really stemmed after we put in this failed move to the upside, because this could have been the start of an impulse. It could have been the 1, 2, 3. As you get the retracement here on the A, that really confirms the failure in the impulse, because you could not have such a deep wave 4. And at that point, it becomes very clear. We are in a complex correction here. And that is where we started to, well, I showed everybody that it's very likely now that Bitcoin is going to go below $100,000. The Elliott Wave Count was the sole reason for this bias of a drop first, for of course higher prices, but it was the one sole reason of why I looked for a below $100,000. So this regards, the Elliott Waves was extremely helpful. I had two potential counts to get us there. First was the more of a zigzag pattern, where from this zigzag it's a 5-3-5. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We look for that ABC, and then you see another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was a zigzag option. The other option, of course, being the WXY, which was my preferred viewpoint. I felt it made more sense, thus being a bit of a higher probability play out. The big difference is this move to the downside being 1, 2, 3 to give you the ABC. There is no 4 and 5. It's just a simple ABC. The low put in around $98,000. You impulse, to new all-time highs. That was the preferred count back in the middle of June, and this is the count that's playing out now. So again, it just goes to show you that even within the Elliott Wave perspective, the zigzag versus the WXY, this is what made more sense, the WXY over that zigzag ABC, and this is the count that played out. So it's just to show you again, Elliott Waves are very, very powerful. Anyway, I want to talk you through this a little bit. And this really simply was first of all, starting with a zigzag. So you had a bit of a move to the downside, upwards, back down, and give you your first ABC. Again, at this point, the count is not clear. It really only becomes clear after this failed impulse. But we can see working through the count, starting here backwards, that this gave us a nice ABC, moving on to the expanded flat ABC, and this was the failed impulse. And then the most logical combination then is, of course, going to be a WX, and you're coming down for an A. Well, the A has already finished this point. We're looking for another retracement here to put in a B, before finally coming down for the C to around $98,000, making new lows, taking out $100,000 liquidity, basically making a lot of people very fearful. You grab that, and then you get another impulse to the upside. And this is the count that has been, more than perfectly respected. You got the move to the upside for the to the B to around 108K before actually coming down towards that bigger target being the $98,000. Um, Within here, there's and again, I'm talking about Elliott waves in this video, but I will always combine Elliott wave with other technical analysis tools. And one that I really want to bring your attention to is one that I have been very, very fond of and highly speaking of, and that is the anchored VWAP. This tool is, in my opinion, one of the primary reasons of why this low was put in. So we actually had the anchored VWAP. This was our major previous all-time high move to the downside, right? That was our major new low. After that, this was our multi-month sideways range. We broke down that low that was put in April. Just look at this anchored VWAP from the low. This is the low pivot. Look at this. We come into the anchored VWAP. We get a bit of a bounce to the upside, and then you get the back test here, and this really was perfect. You you got this bounce off of the you got the bounce off of the CC. Locally, you had Fibonacci from low to high. You come into this CC support Fibonacci actually almost to the dollar. And on top of that was the bigger factor here that you come also into the anchored VWAP. This is your higher term time frame perspective. Of course, this CC is just a very low term time frame Fibonacci pool, but this high term time frame anchored VWAP, one of the biggest and strongest tools in the market. While you're above this, there's still strength. You lose this, it's not so good. So you of course got your first initial reaction, back test. Well, of course, simultaneously you are coming into that CC. You got that back test, and then from there it was of course off to the races. And and then of course you had the news that that there was a ceasefire and all this good stuff, which has of course aided the move to the upside. But this is the amazing thing about Elliott waves. It's like you're not listening to the news. We have no idea the news that there's going to be bombings and then there's going to be a ceasefire and all this stuff. You're just following the count of the Elliott waves, and it's like, as you come up for the rise here on B, you start to get missiles and bombs going off. As you come down to the low, where it is support, then you start to get ceasefires. It's like, you almost are predicting the news before it comes in a way. It's very, very nice. So that's, giving you a general overview, quick overview, yeah, but a general overview of, the steps taken to finish this WXY, leading us up to where we are now. And there was one other factor, and again, this is light-hearted humor, but nevertheless, I want to share something with you here because it for me was actually. Should I share it? Yes or no? Well, I've already shared it on Twitter. I want to actually just show you this on stream because for me this was like the pinnacle of why was the low put in where it was put in. I just want you to listen to the. If you don't know, Carl Moon has been in the space for. Yeah, he's probably been in the space what, a good 7, 8, 9 years. Okay. And he if you're new here, you might think, oh yeah, Carl Moon is a really good trader or whatever. If you kind of like an OG, if you've been around as long as me, you know that it's like the total opposite. This guy, you have to be a little bit careful what I say because there's always a lawsuit underway. So I would just say this guy is not what you think. Anyway, this was brought to my attention. Take a listen to this. This was kind of, well, very sad when you think about it, but listen to this.
If you make your first deposit now, your first trade could be shorting Bitcoin. Maybe now that's the time, right? We're definitely not looking very bullish right now. That's a fact. World War III, all these things, we can't really, plan or predict those things, but they are happening, and it's just a fact. So yeah, it is what it is. Thank you for watching. I love you all, guys. Don't forget.
So this guy basically made this video saying he sold all his Bitcoin. He sold all his Bitcoin at $99,000, and then went on to say this can be your first trade on Bitcoin. Now, it's like, join my affiliate link, guys. Sign up now, deposit, and your first trade can be shorting Bitcoin here. Like, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you make your own opinion of this. Like, don't. This is crazy. But anyway, we could safely say that, yeah, Carl telling everybody to take their first ever trade now, shorting Bitcoin at $98,000. Of course, it had to, right? Sold all his Bitcoin. Tells everybody to short $99,000. Says you cannot predict that there's going to be a low. Well, look at this Elliott Wave Count. Also, Severin, shout out to Severin. He had this wonderful fractal. The fractal played out perfectly where he was looking for a low around $98,000 as well. It all came together, the Elliott waves, the fractals, the big influencers turning bearish at the low. So it all came together actually for a liquidity grab run to the upside. And we're still seeing this right now. So that's been the introduction. That's been the talk through. Now we're going to start to move on more locally. What are we looking at next here? I had a question yesterday. How am I seeing the order flow? And my answer was simple. How does the order flow look on this rise 18 hours ago? My answer was being good. It's all good on the order flow. I am in long trades now on Bitcoin. This was a long trade taken off of a local channel that we saw yesterday. We had to remain very, very patient for this long trade to play out as it kind of just went sideways, sideways, sideways for the majority of the day. This is where I took my long off the swing failure pattern. We got the rise. We got, almost within 0.2%, retested the low. And then throughout the day, we actually then come up to the local channel high here. We got a fake out of the local channel high, which for me was a short trade. We came back down to the middle of the channel, which is where we found support. I think I actually have a chart here. Yeah, here we go. Here it is from the chart. So yesterday was a really, really nice day of trading. I actually managed to get a epic long trade at the low off of a swing failure pattern. I managed to get a short trade from the high off of the fake out of the range. That then came down into the middle of the range, which was a lovely support resistance flip, middle of the channel and the daily VWAP. So, of course, a very nice take profit on the short. Price ended up, of course, rising. But you can see here a very, very, very nice support resistance flip then off of the resistance off the top of the channel, resistance off the top of the channel, broken out. Look at that perfect back test to support higher prices here. Just very, very, very nice. Even the pivot that you see here, look at that. That is the pivot off of the daily for the back test of the channel to then support higher prices. Like this is just so extremely technical. Look at this. Like that daily is not anything new. 106,785. Just look at how that played out. Let me just hide those brush tools. But the whole day was just one of the most technically amazing bit of days I've ever had of trading. Like really nice long trade, which of course I'm still in right now, still in the long. Wonderful long from a swing failure pattern. Short trade from the fake out. Take profit middle of the channel on the VWAP. Of course, I got stopped out of my short as we rose here, which is fine. The short was a profitable trade. Hit my take profit one. Then we go on to the daily. I did not short this because it's too early. I was actually asleep. But nevertheless, we hit the daily. We come back down for the perfect retest of the channel. And now here we are supporting new higher prices. I mean, I just find that absolutely outstanding. How every single pivot that you're looking at there was just so well respected. So again, whether it's Elliott waves on a very high term time frame, whether it's the medium term time frame viewpoint with the Elliott waves and the channels and the fractals, or whether it's the more lower term time frame looking at simple trading ranges, it's just really has been a wonderful few days of trading. And now, as we see here, we are seeing a wonderful, fractal, wonderful WXY playing out last night. And I did not short, of course, this move to the upside yesterday, did not short this retest. And I'm very happy to see this continuation to the upside. And, it's been the same, like when the order flow is this good and bullish, well, of course, you can take short trades. I'm not one to shy away or be scared to take short trades. But it's like I wait for the rise to the upside, just like yesterday. I waited for this rise to the upside. I actually, when you want to see something pretty epic, yesterday the short trade that I took was actually the exact dollar high. Um, yeah, so I actually got into a short trade from the exact dollar high. So yeah, it was a very nice day of trading. But this is the thing, right? You wait for the moves to the upside, you get into your short, you come back down, price comes back down. You got to be very good on your take profits. You cannot get too greedy. Of course, we are in a bull market. And so, anyway, where I'm going with this before we move on, this is the last thing I want to mention about it, is that I'm not scared to take short trades. Just as if I was awake, to be honest with you, if I was awake, I would have shorted this as well. But what's the thing here? Some people would short here and not take any profits at all, thinking, I'm just going to short here and hold it forever. They get in shorts, they see the profits, they don't understand, how to lock in any take profit one. Well, and then the trade ends in a loss. The same this, you can take the short if you don't take profits. Well, then the trade will be ending in a loss. You just have to understand that you shouldn't be scared to take short trades. Well, I'm not scared to take short trades, but you just have to be very good with your take profits. Okay, you can see yesterday you're coming into 3 levels of confluence. I mean, today, to be fair, you had a nice confluence of the back test, but again, I was not in that trade anyway. But it's just understanding of the importance of taking profits, pretty aggressively when you're shorting in a bull market. And of course, the longs. Well, this long I have actually not hit a take profit on at the moment. I'm letting it run a little bit longer. Why? Well, because we're in a bull market. The short I have to be more aggressively on taking profit and protecting myself, moving stop losses down. The long I can give a little bit more space to. Why? Well, because we are in a bull market at the end of the day. So, and that was a long that I actually took on stream. Well, I actually got it just prior to starting this stream because this was an early pivot. But yeah, that held for the whole day, and we're looking for continuation now. So anyway, long story short, let's go over what are we looking at next here. So let's zoom out back to the 4 hour chart. Again, wonderful, wonderful support for that anchored VWAP. Of course, the reverse of this is the old all-time high anchored VWAP. You can see that was very nice resistance here. Resistance, resistance. Now that has been flipped back into support. So this is a very positive sign for the bulls, to be honest with you. So what I want to talk you through now is, are we looking for new all-time highs next? In terms of probabilities, would we say that is a high probability? I would lean on the side of yes. Is there 100%? No. But is it a good probability we're about to see new all-time highs? I would say yes. For a few factors, and you have to also understand how and when weakness could come in this market. So the first thing I want to show you here is, oh, have I deleted all my analysis? Yes, I want to delete this. We'll remove this a second. We'll remove this, and we'll add on this downward sloping parallel channel. So this for me is a very big important factor. This parallel channel, I will actually just add it on again for you so you can understand. So you have pivot high number 1, you have pivot high number 2, you come down for the pivot low. You can actually see how perfect as well that this was in doing a little bit of a fake out. You remember how, I was saying I got a long yesterday from the fake out of the low. Even I had a short from the fake out of the high. But that long was taken off a fake out of the low on a, this is a 5 minute chart. The same perspective, right? On a 4 hour chart, you could have absolutely longed here off of a fake out of the downward sloping channel low. So it's like the same theory and understanding on the 5 minutes, on the 1 hours, on the 4 hours, on the 1 day, on the 1 week, on the 1 month, right? It's the same theory that we're using. And this, of course, there's several different opportunities. You could have longed off of the fake out, you could have longed the CC retest, you could have longed the touch of the anchored VWAP. You could have took a long yesterday off the fake out of the mini range low. You could have even longed a back test of the top of the channel from resistance into support. There's been lots of opportunities. But where we're going with this is, how likely after this WXY is it that we're going to the new all-time high next? So we got to look at this channel, because for me, this is a very, very important level. Not only, as we had the channel high, we got the low, is it possible to come up to this channel high and reject for a move to the downside? Well, of course, absolutely yes. So it's one of these levels where we want to be paying full attention when you hit it. Have a bit of liquidity above the 16th of June high. So you have this liquidity level, we could say. One of the biggest factors as well, this is a little bit prior to this level, but I would be aware of the two value area high levels from the all-time high. You can see how this all-time high is going to be lining up very close to these highs from the 16th of June, and also the top of the downward sloping parallel channel. So you can just see you've got a little bit of a resistance zone here, which I think is very, very key. Just as we got a failed impulse here to give us an X, we absolutely do not want to fail another impulse here. So I would just be aware of this as a really key zone of resistance, which the expectation, yes, the strength is with the bulls right now, but it's always a game of probabilities. And this is, I truly mean this. This is, and I don't want to say this in a boasting way, but I want to be saying this in an honest way that I think that can help you. Like, I truly believe one of the biggest ways that I am a profitable trader is my ability to trade in and out of a bias. And a lot of newer traders particularly would say, oh, this is flip-flopping. One day you're bullish, one day you're bearish. But I understand this information in a way that's tradable, that can actually make me profits. And I truly, truly mean this, that it is one of the biggest ways of me able to profit on the market. So right now, for example, I am bullish on Bitcoin. We can say I am expecting higher prices to come. Well, I can be bullish today on Bitcoin. Tomorrow, we can come into a resistance level. Even on a local range, we can come into a resistance. We can get a fake out of the range. I'll take a short trade. And then maybe from that short trade, we get continued weakness throughout the day. And we start to then see signs of weakness on more of a medium term time frame. Well, then it's not just having this bias of, right, I am bullish. I'm not going to say any way I can be wrong, and just be stuck to that bias. So that's what I don't really understand when people say, "Oh, one day you're bullish, one day you're bearish." But isn't it better than just being every single day bearish, right? You have to update. What I'm going with is you have to update to the market. You have to understand it's all a game of probabilities. It's, of course, you shouldn't just be randomly bearish at the lows and bullish at the highs. That's an awful way of trading. You have to understand it's a game of strength, weakness, probabilities, understanding confluence levels, understanding where our entry triggers. It's a complex game, but I think it's just very important to understand. Well, right now I am bullish because we are only seeing strength and there is no weakness. So why would I be bearish at that point when, of course, the overall underlying context is we are still in a bull market? So why would I be bearish? And it it only will get bearish if there's a reason to on the chart. It's as simple as that. And I think the next big level for me will be the top of this channel. Again, do I think we can get through it? Yes. But the other value area high that I'd be aware of is, of course, the value area high of this whole range, and this is coming in a bit prior. You can actually see that's coming in very shortly. So it's going to be around 107,000. Let's call it 107,700, give or take a few $100s. I think this is a very I do not think that this is a major level for me today. The reason why, even though it is a major level in terms of it's the value area high at a range, in that regards, it's a major level. But the reason why well, I've got two opinions on this level, really. The first is that there's a very low confluence. And I am a trader that really likes to see confluence. So when I do not have that, it's like, I think it's funny because this is a low level confluence. I'm not really a fan of trying to short at this level. But on the same perspective, this has been a very big move to the upside, and it's not going to be the end of the world if we do see a move down and a retracement. Because at the end of the day, do you want to be longing after this massive move to the upside? Well, no. The only way you can get into longs is like the long that I took yesterday. You have to wait even for a local retracement, right? You have to wait for a local move to the downside. So it's if you understand that, can you long where we are right now? No, you can't. So if price just continues up, well, so be it, but you're not going to be able to get into new longs. What do you need to wait for? You need to wait for a retracement if you want to take a long. So although I do not really feel that this is a good short, I would, well, let's say, view it as a nice opportunity if we reject it for a retracement to the downside to, compound load up on another long. But I do feel the bigger level is going to be the top of the channel. But the thing here is that this is still quite a big way away. We're talking about nearly 2.5%. So I just question: does the market still have enough of another 2.5% after already today being up 2.5%? That's nearly a 5% plus in just over 24 hours. Like I question, I'll happily analyze and keep looking at the order flow throughout the day. And of course, I have not shorted yet. So my preference, in a position of being in longs, not in shorts, well, my preference would be, oh, let's go straight to all time highs. But I also understand that, I would love us to see all time high, now. But I also understand that that's not very likely. The likelihood that this goes straight line upwards, well, not likely at all, right? Even on big moves to the upside, there are still several consolidation periods. There are still several retracements. Even this is a retracement still within an uptrend. So nothing just goes vertically up. We do need to look for these retracements. So I just look for sensible areas. I think this is the most sensible area. This area, I mean, is a nice level, but I just feel it lacks a lot of confluence. The only way I could short this is on a lower term time frame setup. And what is a lower term time frame setup? Well, much like the trade I took yesterday off the fake out at a range high, that would be one of the best. Um, so I bring it back to the start of this video. I ask a question: is Bitcoin, about to make or on its journey to be pushing up to all time highs? Really simply, our current all time high valued at exactly 100 and let's call it $112,000. Is Bitcoin about to breach up and go above $112,000? I would say, honestly, from a probable standpoint, the highest probability is yes. It is more likely right now, seeing as we are seeing strength, seeing as we are not seeing any weakness, that Bitcoin is likely to go to all-time highs. Okay, it's the highest likelihood that we are about to go to all-time highs. On top of that, though, what I would say is it likely that we're about to go all-time highs with a straight move to the upside? Well, that's not as likely. It's likely that we come up, we get the retracement, we get another move to the upside, right? That would be more likely. But in terms of am I looking for all-time highs? My answer is yes today, as it was last week, as it was at the start of the month, as it was at the start of May, as it was at the start of January, as it was at the start of 2023, right? My perspective has been bullish for a long time now. My perspective has not changed. Just as, just as I've been looking for all-time highs from, to be honest, like all the way from down here, even before that, all the way from down. I've been looking for all-time highs, I've been monitoring the strength. So my perspective has not been swayed. You cannot really I don't think you can argue with that. I have been calling all-time highs for a long time. And so I think that we're in a wonderful position now with the termination of the WXY to get this push. Do I think we could get a retracement first? Yes. But I would say that it's nice to hold this pivot, form the fake out, which is complete. We've got the reclaim of the value area low, which was for me extremely important. So when you think about it, the reclaim of this value area low was very, very important for me. Also, we do have to then give weight to the value area high. But yeah, while we remain with the strength, I do feel that we absolutely will push to all-time highs. Do I think we can get a retracement? Yes, that's where you get new long opportunities. Um, of course, biggest one right now would be looking at the uptrend anchored view that's coming in around 103,300. So where I'd be saying, local CC coming in just below that. Anyway, this is going to be for another video. This video was just going to be focused on the medium term time frame perspective, the Elliott Wave Count. If you want me to go through lower term time frame trades, targets, perspectives, setups, more precisely, drop some noise down in the comments below. I will always respond well to that. Alternatively, you can get it straight away via chartchampions.com. That's where you got the membership. That's where you can actually see live trading today. We've got another live stream later today. You got the whole educational course. You got the live trading streams. If you don't want to wait around for the targets of today, well, chartchampions.com. You pay for the membership and you get access to that. So I will say this, we're not a signals group, we are an educational group. We want to teach you, want to help you, and we want to see you succeed. I hope you've enjoyed. I thank you all ever so much. And yeah, that is me signing out. Thank you, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed, and goodbye.